Would I surprise people with what I do?
We'll cover that on the show.
Is that your phone, John H?
Yes. Rookie mistake.
Please silence that before we start recording.
Yes,
Thank
please.
you.
Sorry, I suck.
If that would have gone off in the middle of the show,
You would have just crucified me. I didn't
my
have a week
stare
off
would
to
have melted you down.
You could have blamed me. I'm pretty sure he turned
You're
mine
good at the
off.
stare.
Yep, I'm good.
You do lock on, and I feel diminished somehow.
All right, y'all set up? We're all good to go?
Yeah, you coach these guys up?
Yep.
You all know what we're doing?
We're good.
I actually have you have an outline
Yep.
for this?
Yep.
You want to do your stuff?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you only have one set?
Yeah, one of you should. And then if you want to help me out, if you hear
Give it to Carrie. Carrie's the brains of the operation. No
Yeah, I'll
offense.
just talk.
Raise it up to the.
I just prefer talking.
No pressure. No pressure at all.
All right, we good to go, John?
Not yet. Hold on.
If you hear, Carrie, if you hear Greg or yourself, you know, you can adjust that microphone so that it's more, so that it sounds more clear. Instead of like this, or like this,
Okay.
you know, if Greg's in the middle of talking and he's talking to John like this and it doesn't sound as good as it would sound if he was talking like this,
Yeah.
just kind of say that in the funniest way a
You
little
can
bit.
kick me.
That too. But yeah, these also, that's the other thing, these are adjustable, so, you know. Also, if you talk with your hands,
Yeah.
don't do this, because this will go on the, yes, don't do that.
I love it. I love when you do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to give you a little heads up, for the first, this is going to be the lead-off segment of the show on Saturday. So I spend a couple minutes talking about Fitness Edge Week in Fitness, and I talk about all the things that I've done throughout the week. And so you guys just kind of stand there and be in awe of what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Then we introduce you. Just so you,
You're the boss.
in case you're wondering, when is he going to talk about us? I will get to it.
You ready to go?
I'm ready, man.
Good morning and welcome to Fitness Edge Radio right here on ESPN Rochester. You can find us now on 95.7 FM as well as 950 AM. This and every Saturday morning at 9 AM. We're here to help push people past their previous fitness limits and accomplish goals that once seemed impossible. It's me, Mike Danger, joined by Fitness Edge Radio creator and co-host for the next hour, John Hutchings. John H. is the owner of the Downtown Fitness Club at 50 Chestnut Street, and for nearly 20 years has been in the fitness business in and around the Rochester area. Good morning, John H.
Good morning, Mike Danger. What's going on today?
Ready and excited to hear about your adventures in fitness this week on
That's right.
Fitness Edge Radio.
You do remember that I inserted a new feature on the show where I reviewed the Fitness Edge Week in Fitness, and there is a lot going on around town, so we'll just jump right into it. This past week I stopped over at Troop Street Park in the Cornhill area of the city on Thursday night to check out an Easy Work, easy with a Z by the way, fitness community workout. It's a free workout in the park for anyone who wants to attend, and my new friend Lee Davis, he started Easy Work Fitness 3 years ago. He had a mission to heal and inspire the world through fitness, and he's brought together a diverse group of people of all ages and race, from soccer moms to Division I football players. They even have an elite boxer who's ranked in the top 5 in the world. He wasn't there, so I don't know who that is, but I'm curious to go back and find out who this is. I think it might be William Monroe. Works out with their group. Again, they are Easy Work with a Z Fitness, and I posted videos on our Fitness Edge Media YouTube channel if listeners want to get an idea of what those workouts look like. Have you ever heard of the Bartendas with a Z
No.
on YouTube?
I haven't.
It's these guys, they're extreme park workouts. They do like pole stuff. They're like spinning around on pull-up bars and just all kinds of crazy, kind of like parkour, but it's just extreme gymnastics, calisthenics workouts.
Okay.
You gotta check it out. Well, Fitness Edge listeners, hopefully they'll check that out. Also, I want to promote again, I promoted this a couple weeks ago, the Staff Sergeant Javier Ortiz Memorial 5K race and walk coming up on August 2nd. U.S. Marine Staff Sergeant Ortiz was killed in action in Afghanistan in November 2010, and all proceeds from this run and walk will benefit the Veterans Outreach Center, so it's a great cause. I'd love the whole fitness community to support this event. And then, plans are solidifying for the first annual East End Fitness Festival to celebrate fitness here in the Rochester area. It'll be held Saturday, September 13th on East Avenue, right there at the corner of Matthew Street. That's Spot Coffee. You know where Spot Coffee is over there?
Yeah, I live over there. Love that place.
Yeah, it's a good big parking lot behind the old Easy on East / Milestone will be set up in there, and anyone who has anything to do in the fitness business is invited to check that out. And then finally, we talked to the Ayatomasis. Oh, we haven't talked to them in a little while, but the Ayatomasi clan has solidified the date for their fall show, the OCB Eastern USA Bodybuilding Figure and Bikini Championships. It changed from October 18th as originally announced to October 4th. As it turned out, Joe Cristiano had his show scheduled the same day. So in the interest of the greater Rochester bodybuilding community, Dan Paul and Paul Jr., good guys that they are, moved the date to eliminate any conflicts there. So that is This Week in Fitness from Fitness Edge Radio.
All right, very good. So we've got our first guests lined up and on tap in studio today, Fitness Edge Radio. John H., who is joining us this morning?
We have some new names and faces in the fitness community, and in particular the kettlebell workout scene. Let's welcome Carrie and Greg Beast Davis from Structural Body Systems to Fitness Edge Radio. Thanks for joining us this morning. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming in. Carrie, how you doing over there?
I'm great. It's good to see you.
It's good to be seen. Now, I'm curious, Greg, how did you acquire the moniker Beast?
Okay, it's a long story. I'll try to make it short. First of all, I was never an athlete, but I started doing some jiu-jitsu later on in life after Carrie started giving me these workouts. And that's the name that I was given. I was given that nickname by the guys I was grappling with, young 18 to 20-year-old phenoms, and I'm 34 at that time, and I was able to crush them with my cardio and my overall strength.
Yeah, it says here on your bio on structuralbodysystems.com, your website, you are known for your strength and conditioning in the martial arts that you had studied. You've done some jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, judo as well?
Yes, sir.
So you're well schooled, and I think you're currently training at the Strike Back Martial Arts toward your black belt.
Yeah, I'm getting real close. It takes a long time with these guys. They don't give them out.
No.
You don't just get a black belt if you've been there for a couple of years and you pay your bill.
It's like the Karate Kid and Mr. Miyagi, right?
Exactly.
Have you waxed all of the cars over there and
All
painted
of
all
them.
the fences?
I mow their lawn and they just
Taught
keep
the
telling me
flying,
I
the
got more to go.
chopsticks.
I have to shovel
You
the
keep
driveway.
talking to Greg like this, he's going to come over there and sweep the leg.
I know.
Watch yourself.
Keep a safe distance
Take him
from
down.
He is the beast.
Actually, I was gonna use the crane kick.
Ah.
The sweep would work too.
Wow.
Put him in a body bag! Johnny!
Now, is that from the first Karate Kid, or is that from the second?
Look,
That's the
I'm
first
just,
one.
yeah, the first
That's the
one's
first
the-
one?
I'm an
That's the only
expert
one that
in karate.
matters. That's the only one that matters.
That's right. Is there? How many Karate Kids were there?
Well, there were actually 4, but there were only 2 that were worth watching.
Yes.
The third one was horrible, and the fourth one was. All I remember was
Straight to
ninjas
DVD?
coming out of the ceiling of a gymnasium during a school dance.
Really? Was Ralph Macchio in that one?
No,
No,
it was
he had
some
moved
girl.
on.
Hilary Swank was in that one.
Oh, is that who that was?
Yeah. So Hilary Swank, who goes on to win an Oscar down the road in Korea, she was one of the, what was that, the next Karate Kid or something?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Awful.
Wow, a little Karate Kid movie trivia there on Fitness Ed Radio this morning. That's awesome.
Well, I think my work here is done. Have a good day.
Yeah, drops the mic, walks out. Well, anyway, I visited Rock Boxing a couple of weeks ago. You guys know of Coach Dom over there, right?
So you are using your glutes and your hamstrings instead of bending over when you're doing your kettlebell swing. It also, when you're doing your shoulder presses, you have to utilize your lats to press the bell up, which takes the pressure off of your smaller rotator cuff muscles. So I like it for the therapeutic aspect of it, where it rebalances your posture and your muscular system. And then on top of that, I'm a mom, so I love that you can get a really awesome workout in a short amount of time.
Sure, so it's time efficient, time well spent. Now, Carrie, you're also a licensed massage therapist. I don't know if we said that in the intro, but as well as a certified personal trainer. So you've certainly experienced and seen all modalities of fitness, both from the implementation side and then what I would call the aftermath as a therapist, where they come in and go, I was doing CrossFit, and you got to fix them all up, right?
Yeah.
What drew you to the kettlebell as the central theme in your approach to fitness then?
Well, I've dealt with neck pain and low back pain myself, and just working with it on my own I found that I was able to get a really awesome workout in a short amount of time, and I was able to do strength training. I had not done weight training, like Olympic or powerlifting. You know, as a woman, we tend to be somewhat intimidated by that, and I found it much easier to do, more approachable in that realm.
Now, is there any, I guess, credence to the fact that a kettlebell just looks badass? It's just this big lump of steel with a handle on it. I mean, was there any just attraction from just the visual of the kettlebell when you first came across it?
Oh yeah, that too. It definitely helps to, you know, be a girl and throw something around.
It's almost, what's the word I'm looking for? It's almost like a poetry in motion if you see somebody who's really good at the kettlebell, because these kettlebell routines, and we'll delve into it a little bit, there's different styles of kettlebell. Believe it or not, there's actually a form of juggling kettlebells, Danger, if you can imagine that. Juggling kettlebells where you release and toss kettlebells around, but you know, it just requires such coordination. It's not just strength, it's coordination of motion, it's hand-eye coordination, it's flexibility. I think a lot of people don't realize how much the kettlebell improves one's flexibility and range of motion. You know, I got my information in doing my research from the show where all fitness people should go, which is Wikipedia, and look up kettlebells. Kettlebells were developed in Russia in the 1700s primarily for weighing crops. Did you guys know that? It was like a measurement that they weighed crops by. They put them on these scales and they weighed the crops. But what happened is these farmers became stronger by lifting the kettlebells and found them useful for showing off their strength during festivals. So imagine this like feudal Russian festival out in the country someplace, and these burly Russian farmers swinging kettlebells around to impress their Russian womenfolk. The Soviet Army then used them as part of their physical training and conditioning programs in the 20th century, and they have been used for competition in sports throughout Russia and Europe since the 40s. Side note, kettlebells have been in the United States in some form since the 60s or earlier. Wikipedia also tells us there's 4 primary styles of kettlebell training. Hard style. Am I saying this right? Girovoy, or is it Girovoy?
I think it's Girovoy.
Girovoy. There's CrossFit, which is a new modality of the last decade. And then, like I said to Danger, who would have imagined it, juggling style of kettlebell. Were you guys aware of all of those styles of kettlebell?
Yes, we do hard style, and actually I do some juggling.
You do some juggling
Yes,
kettlebells?
yes.
How many kettlebells can you juggle at one time?
Well, I only juggle one at once.
Okay, so you've
But
not taken 3,
I'm
like I'm
really
thinking of a
seeing-
traditional juggler who's
Well,
juggling 3.
So that's what I used to think too. I believe what they mean is anytime you're releasing a kettlebell
Okay.
in the air, I believe that's considered juggling a kettlebell. So like I do waiter catches and things like that with pretty large kettlebells. So a waiter catch is where you would, you pop the weight up and then you release it and then you catch it by the actual bell.
Okay, so there's just a release involved. Like if you're doing a one-arm swing and you decide you're gonna switch arms in midair, I like doing that, just kind of
Well,
float it
that's how
out
you're
there.
supposed to switch hands, and there might be somebody out there that might correct me, which is fine, because I certainly don't know everything, but as far as I know, that's what juggling kettlebells is. Otherwise, I don't know, because I've heard guys can juggle 70-pound kettlebells, and I'm thinking,
That's gotta be amazing.
if they're actually
Probably
juggling.
not as dangerous as chainsaws, but I mean, it's up there.
Yeah, well, I don't know, if it falls on your head or something, that's.
And they have competitions too. There's kettlebell juggling competitions.
Wow. Well, let's do this. Let's take a little bit of break. We got a break coming up here. We'll take a break here on Fitness Edge Radio. When we come back, we're going to find out more about structural body systems. We haven't really talked a lot about that and where to find you guys, and we'll talk more about kettlebells right after this.
Yes, if you want more history on the kettlebell or on the Karate Kid, we have it for you on Fitness Edge Radio.
That's right. We're going to take a break and reload, and we'll be back to that in a minute.
Anytime you guys want to talk about Karate Kid, I'm down. I'm back.
You look like the Karate Kid when you put that on. You just
So
like
that's funny,
you
because
went
then
there.
didn't Million Dollar Baby do well? I
Oh,
never saw
she-
that movie, but
yeah,
I
she
wanna
won-
say
she won an
it would've
Academy
been
Award
awesome.
for it.
Yeah, but then Karate Kid 4 was a total flop.
Well, she did Karate Kid before she did any of these other movies.
Right,
She
right.
did that movie where she
It's just-
played the gay